let me introduce you again. I've already mentioned his name. His name's Adam Phillips. He's the president of American Business Systems. He's going to be joining me and co-hosting with me. He has also been interviewed several times, and one of these that you might be interested in listening to is one on supreme leadership. This is a great interview that you can go listen to. I've got the website down there so that you can go listen to that link. Again, if you'll go check that out on the PDF that I've got over there for you. If you don't have time to kind of write all of that out, you can go over there and download that PDF and be able to look at that link a little bit later and go listen to that interview of Adam Phillips there. Adam has been working with his dad, Patrick Phillips, who a lot of you already know. And with Patrick and Adam, there is strong leadership here now with Adam. Adam, I guess you kind of grew up in all of this. So listen, without any further ado, let me get Adam on here with us this afternoon. Adam, it's good to see you here this afternoon.
Hey, Eric, thanks for having me. Glad to give people some information about our opportunity and hopefully get them excited about starting a business where they don't ever have to leave their house.
You bet. Tell us real quickly, tell us a little bit of the history of how you got involved in this. I mean, you were just kind of almost birthed into this whole thing here. You're not much older than 30 years old as yourself.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Eric said, it is a family business. It was started in 1994. We're a privately held still family business. Started in 94 by my parents. They actually had started their own medical billing business in the 80s under a different company name, and we're doing medical billing for doctors. And I actually have memories of my mom using a typewriter to do claim forms. That's how long we've been doing this. Yeah, so you could say I've been involved for quite my whole life, like you said.
Almost, yeah.
I came on board full time about 15 years ago. I've got a background in mortgage industry and some other things, and I've just enjoyed so much working in a family business. Everybody in the company is working from home now. I mean, for obvious reasons, but it's been very convenient. Our business model is very convenient for our owners as well as the principals of ABS. I mean, everything is done using cloud-based technology and internet, and web-based platforms that we have that are all connected. So it's just very easy to have a remote work type business with no office space or anything like that. So yeah.
Yeah, and Adam, we know that not only are we and other of our licensees that are doing that, we know that obviously because of the pandemic that it came out earlier this year, we know a lot of doctors that are obviously they're doing some remote stuff as well. So medicine is changing, but you know what? The doctors still need to get those claims out the door. And I think you mentioned just in a webinar last week to us, or maybe through an article that you helped bring out, is that now is kind of the time where doctors, as they're closing out 2020, going into 2021, they're really kind of looking about their books right now and trying to figure out what they need to do differently going into 2021.
That is exactly right. Everybody that I've been talking with, I've been telling them, you need to stop playing the wait and see game. You need to, if you're serious about launching a business, you need to get your business set up. You need to get your training done. You need to get your marketing plan in place before the new year kicks off, because you're exactly right. That is when doctors do their books. They look at how much money they've made. They look at how much money they haven't made, and they're thinking, all right, we've got to really look at we've got to think about new services we can provide, to get more patients to come in and all kinds of stuff. So we have recently added several new services and systems that our business owners are offering to medical practices to make that happen, to actually help them market to patients, to bring more patients in. But even the patients that aren't coming in, we have a telehealth service where they can do telehealth, over the internet, so patients don't have to leave their home if they're in a state or a city or whatever that's still more locked down than some of the other ones are. So, no matter what part of the country you're in, no matter what state of lockdown or not, that you're in, we have services and things that you can use and make really good money at it. So yeah.
And before we pop off of here and we actually start in there, you and ABS and the training department and the support department, because of COVID and everything else, have developed ways in which to market to doctors differently because of somewhat of the lockdown. You want to kind of go into that real quickly, and then we'll just get started right on into everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're probably going to get into that in some of these slides here coming up, but you're going to hear me say this a lot. Literally everything is done virtually and online now from start to finish.
Yeah.
So we're going to kind of go into that and explain what all that means. But when we say never leave home, I'm serious. Like, we have licensees that have just recently gone through our training during this COVID thing, and they can't, we had some folks, I think they were in, I want to say Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin is really locked down right now.
Right.
So what they've been able to do is they've been able to take our marketing methods, the things that we taught them with our help, and they're doing a lot of the things like networking and partnerships, strategic partnerships. They're doing that, but they're doing it virtually with Zoom meetings and go-to meetings and stuff like that. So they're still able to get their name out there without even leaving their house. So, so that's been really the big advantage with the technology that we have. It just makes it so easy to not have to get out there if you don't have to, Yeah.
Well, we're showing Dave. I think everybody knows Dave Ramsey. Everybody's probably heard of him, probably listened to some of his podcasting, maybe seen him on video, maybe on some of the news channels talking about money, retirement, what you need to do. And he says in this quote here, the worst thing that we can do is to get a second job. The best thing we can do is start a home-based business. You want to kind of expand upon that, Adam?
I mean, it's pretty simple. Dave's a really smart guy. I've been following him for years, and he's helped a lot of people get out of debt and become successful. So I think he knows what he's talking about. And yeah, I mean, that article that he's in that book, he's talking about the reasons why it's the best thing to do, because if you get a second job, all you're doing is you're still working for someone else, and you're still always going to be struggling. You're always going to have that ceiling of revenue and income that you can make. You're always going to have somebody else telling you what to do, the hours that you have to work. So I mean, it's a no-brainer this day and age. It's a no-brainer to start your own business, and it can be really scary. But if you partner with the right company who can handhold you every step of the way, like we do, we can, we've got a lot of success stories all over the country. So
a couple more things here, folks, and this is all during, if you think about it, all these articles that we're going to show you have been throughout what we know as this COVID outbreak and trying to figure out what's going on. And you can see here's an article entitled "Why It Might Not Be Such a Crazy Idea to Start a Company Right Now." And we get into that. You can see here, now might be the best time to start thinking about setting up a new venture from home. The virus outbreak could pave the way for new tech venture that focuses on healthcare and medicine. And Adam, we have actually seen that in the last couple of months. I mean, this obviously was in May of this year, but what you and I have seen over just since May to where we are here in October, this is exactly what we've seen.
Yeah, guess which industries are growing even during a pandemic?
Yeah.
Healthcare is growing even during a pandemic, because everybody is shifting to thinking about, well, there's going to be a lot of sick people. There's going to be a lot of doctors doing a lot of work for sick people. They're going to need a lot of help. Somehow the doctors have got to get paid for the work that they're doing. And, the majority of practices out there that are offering insurance, accepting insurance, it's really tricky for doctors to be able to accurately collect that money that's owed to them without spending a lot of time and effort on it. So that's what our owners do, is they tell doctors, look, let us take care of just these things here that you're worried about, and you go practice medicine. You do you, and we're gonna go out, we're gonna go to bat for you. We're gonna get these claims paid to the maximum that they can be paid, and we're gonna increase the doctor's revenue. So that's
absolutely, yeah. I'm going to jump ahead a little bit because I know we took a little bit of time just kind of off topic a little bit on some things there, and it's always good to kind of hear from you, Adam. And I'm really glad that you're here and kind of talking about that. But let's kind of get into really what people are going to want to know about. I mean, first of all, let's talk about what the investment is here for ABS, and then we can start talking it through how they can start seeing how they can get that ROI, that return on investment. So you want to first talk about what the investment is and what it kind of includes, and then we'll jump right into here.
Yeah, sure. And just as a reminder, folks, if you want to type any questions that come to mind at all, go ahead and type those in the question box, and we will be answering those as we go along here. So let's start with the title of this webinar: Start a Low-Cost Medical Billing Business. Why is it low cost? How much is it? Well, we are listed on several of the franchise and business opportunity websites where most of you on this webinar probably found out about us, like, I don't know, franchise.com, FranchiseGator, or something like that. And we are listed in the business opportunities section of those websites, which means we give you the same kind of training and support as a franchise would, but we're not a franchise, so you don't have to pay us any royalty fees of any kind. And you can sign up any doctors anywhere in the United States. So it's quite a different model in that regard. But the key thing to note here is, if any of you have been browsing on those websites, surely you have seen that as far as investment ranges go, we are at the very bottom of the list as far as money that is required to start a business. So we are in the under $30,000 range. And so our investment is $27,990 for those of you who don't know, $27,990. And that is one of the lowest cost opportunities on all of those websites that you can find. And when you see today what the ROI is, the return on investment potential is, I think that you will all agree that this is one of the best opportunities out there for the investment. So that's why we call it a low cost business, because it is one of the lowest cost investments on those websites. So we're going to get into the ROI here. If you guys go to our website, not right now, but after the webinar, absystems.com, you can actually, if you haven't seen this yet, you can actually click on a couple of different income calculators that we have, and there's a screenshot right there. So if you click on the income potential, you can go to the income calculator, and you can start playing around with the numbers to figure out what kind of money can be made in this business. And these are numbers that we actually gathered from real case studies and licensees that told us, yeah, this is kind of what we're charging. This is what, this is how many patients our doctors see and stuff like that. So the default, as you can see, the default when you go to that page, it's already set up with some numbers in there where if you were just to click submit, it would tell you exactly what you're looking at there, which is one doctor as a client. That's it. So worst case scenario, if you went through our program and you only signed up one doctor and that was it, those doctors see about 25 patients a day, and our licensees charge an average of around 5 to 9%. So we had 6% in there. It's kind of an average is what they charge. Open 5 days a week. That's pretty typical. And for a general practice, their claim amounts are fairly small. So that's why we put $100 in there. But remember, you can sign up any specialty that you can think of. So there's a lot of specialists that charge a lot more money than that, than family practice doctors. But we're keeping it real here. We're keeping it real low. And this is a very conservative number. When we click submit, you're going to find out that just that one doctor, just that one family practice doctor could potentially gross you $39,000 a year. $39,000 a year. Average gross income monthly, $3,250. So what does that mean? That means you're going to see an ROI, which means return on investment, in less than 1 year with just one doctor. We have licensees that have done that time and time again. It's just amazing. So it can be very lucrative, obviously, if you're paying attention there.
Well, let's deal with a couple of questions that have come in here, Adam, because I mean, there's people ask questions. We've asked them some questions, and so let's get into those just real quickly. And the first one comes from Alex, and the question is to you, and I'll read it to you. What is the average time a new franchise or a new business opportunity is able to sign up their first client?
Great question, Alex. So there's a lot of variables there. There's a lot of people that go through our program and they are only able to do the market the business part-time in the beginning because they've got another job that they can't quit right away. They want to quit, but they can't quit until they sign up a client and they've got some money coming in. So some people are spending a little bit less time in the beginning, but the people that are doing this full time right after training, and I'm talking about 6 or 7 hours a day out there building the business, they usually see their first contract anywhere from 30, 60, 90 days, somewhere around there. That's there's no guarantees how long it's going to take you personally, because we don't know how much effort you personally are going to put into the business, but we can just share with you averages, and that's the averages that we see. There's some people that it takes longer, it's because of the part-time thing and all that. But I will tell you, Alex, that we give every single person that goes through our training, at the end of the training, we work with them and figure out what their goals are for the business and how much time they have to spend on the business, and we help them customize a marketing plan specific to you. And it's going to tell you exactly what steps to take and when to take them. So you're never left wondering, well, what do I do now? What do I do now? Right. It's going to show you exactly what to do. And the key thing is if you just keep that marketing plan in place and doing what we taught you, there's too many doctors out there that need help. I mean, it's going to happen at some point. It may not happen in 30 days, but it's going to happen at some point if you keep it up.
You bet. Keisha is asking, do you finance? You want to answer that because you've talked about the actual investment. Let's deal with that, and then we'll get to the next little slide here. I figured that's a good question too. That's a fair question to be asking.
Sure. Yeah, Keisha, we don't do any financing internally. We have some partners, some funding partners that we work with, and they have various loan products just kind of based on your credit score and some other stuff. So if your credit is 700 or higher, we could certainly put you in touch with them, and they could take a look at that and see what they could do for you. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We just got through with this calculator, as you see right there. We want to make sure that you kind of know how this looks and how it kind of works here. So we thought we would really break it down. Now, Adam did a great job of kind of talking you through with, having that one doctor that sees the 25 patients. But, a lot of times, Adam, people say, okay, well, that's a calculator. How did you come up with those numbers? Is there any smoke and mirrors here? We're gonna reveal that to you so that you don't think that there's anything that's kind of funny in the background. But if you just do the calculations, you've got one doctor that sees 25 patients a day. Each one of those is $100 in reimbursements. Obviously, that's about $2,500 a day in which the doctor's getting. Now, remember, you're getting paid upon what you help to get that doctor reimbursed. And so when we use that number at $100 per patient, folks, that when you go to the doctor right now, you're fortunate if you walk out of there and it's 125 or 150. So there's a little bit of playroom right there, because really sometimes what's billed versus what's actually reimbursed still comes out on average about $100 per patient. So that's why we say $2,500 per day for that. If you're charging that doctor 6% to do that billing, so you just take that $2,500 per day times 6%, then there's your $150 a day. And Adam, if we think about it and look at it right here, this is for less than 2 hours a day of work. So, for part-time work, that's $75 an hour. That's not too shabby if you're just doing this part-time.
That's not too shabby at all. Our owners tell us that they can do one claim in about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
When they get the hang of it. So it's not hard. It's not rocket science. We teach you how to do the claim processing. This example that we're giving is a general practice, like family medicine. So there's a lot of variables. If you start signing up specialists, there could be different levels of complexity, for the claims and such. But we have support partners that can help with any kind of specialty you can think of to help you get the work done. So, but yeah, in general, it's about 2 minutes per claim is where we come up with that. Yeah.
Yeah. About 2 minutes per claim. And then to keep going down on the calculator, so for you, if you're making $150 a day times 5 days a week, that's $750 a week times 52. And again, you just do the simple math there. There's your $39,000. So, if you're looking to, Adam mentioned to some of you that might be looking to finance this out, you can think about, okay, well, I know that once I get going with a doctor, this is the potential here. I'm going to get that, even if it takes you a little bit of time to get that first doctor, which that's another question that's come into play here. Again, how long does it take you to get that first doctor, Adam? And I think you kind of mentioned that, but again, there's so many different variables. But even within the first 30, 60, 90 days, you're still within that year process to make up for maybe any lost time of doing some marketing or whatever else you've got going on there. $39,000 a year adds up pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's right. And I need to add that we're not even really calculating the money received from the patients as well, from copays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We have features built into our system that you can use to help collect on that side as well. And so you absolutely deserve to invoice the doctor for a percentage of what they're receiving from the patients as well. So it could potentially be quite a bit more than 39,000. This is just talking about insurance.
Yes. Victoria is asking about insurance in a different way. Adam, do we need to have special insurance to protect ourselves from audits?
Okay, good question, Victoria. And I've got a couple of different answers since you mentioned audits. So your liability is very limited the way that we help you set up this business and the way that you do the work. It starts with setting up your company as an LLC. Most people do that. But also, we don't have you doing any of the coding work, which we're going to kind of go into that here in a little bit. The coding work is where if you don't know what you're doing, you could get into big trouble. So we actually have the doctors and their staff doing the coding, or we have certified coders that can do that coding work for you, which is a part of the process of processing claims, but it's kind of in the middle. And then once the coding is done, there's still a lot of processing that needs to be done, and that's what you do as an owner. That's what we teach you how to do. But that was kind of a long answer to a short question. Some licensees actually do end up getting what's called errors and omissions insurance, and we do talk about that in our training that we do for you. So that'll run you maybe $400 or $500 a year or something like that. So some licensees do get that as a little bit of protection there, but it really hasn't been much of an issue. I do need to talk about, since you said the word audit, we actually do have services for your medical practices that help protect them from audits. So they have two different audits that they are really scared of right now: Medicare audits and HIPAA audits. And so we have a service that can protect them from both of that, which we're going to explain here in a minute. There it is right there, audit card. Yeah, so you got that slide set up and ready to go for me. So this is one of our services.
I saw where you were going. I said, we'll jump ahead. No big deal.
We'll jump back and forth. That's fine. So this is one of our services that you can offer to doctors if a doctor is worried about, hey, am I doing my coding right? Am I doing my charts right? This will help protect them if Medicare were to come in and do an audit, but they've had this audit guard service performed. The chances of them being fined are greatly reduced. It doesn't eliminate, chances of being fined, but it's greatly reduced if they do this. So hopefully that answers that.
There you go. Kind of jump back over to where we were, and we'll get right back to that audit guard because we want to show you how you can actually make money on that. But kind of staying with this whole income stream, Adam, we've already said one doctor can generate about 39,000, and obviously, if we're doing the same numbers and we're expanding that out, changing that number in the calculator. And folks, Adam has encouraged you to go to the website, put in these numbers that you want. If you want to work with 3 specialties and you want to put in $175 versus the $100, put that in there. You'll kind of see where you might be. And then, but this one, the only thing that we changed here was just the number of doctors. We kept everything else the same. And then now you've kind of broken that 6-figure income. And Adam, I think that's what everybody's kind of thinking about. They feel there's a sense of success when you get to work for yourself and you finally break that ceiling of that 6-figure income. I think that's where most people feel like, okay, I've kind of gotten some success in my life.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this was 3 doctors. Is that what this
Yes,
screen?
right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So 3 doctors, literally 3 general practitioners. You could potentially break that 6-figure mark. I mean, it seems crazy, but it's, if you just look at the numbers, you look at what the doctors are billing to insurance, and you charging, somewhere around 6% of that, it can add up very, very quickly, especially when you start signing up the specialists, anybody with ologist on the end, that's who you want to target.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just for those that want to see what the growth times 10 doctors is, again, taking those same numbers there,
Hold on to your
that's,
seats.
yep, $390,000. I mean, so you've got a good income, and obviously at this point, Adam, and we've got a lot of our licensees that are right there right now. At this point, you're not just doing it by yourself. You're probably at this point,
Hmm.
working. You've got people that you've employed, and you've got a lot more help. But at that point, now you're kind of living the American dream because you're making money for yourself, but you're also supplying work for other people.
Yeah, that's right. 10 doctors or more, that takes a lot. That's a lot of processing work. So, you have a lot of that's another cool thing about this opportunity is you have a lot of options on what you want your role to be in this business. And I would say our more successful licensees have taken the role of being the business owner, the person who's in charge of everything, but not actually doing the work. So they end up hiring data entry, data processors. They may hire a sales rep or two. And we have all the training for those different types of employees for you if you want. So we can show you how to get people up to speed very quickly. I mean, you could teach a college student the basics of the software in a day. It's not super difficult.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then in our training, we can show you how to, we've got sample commission structures for sales reps and all kinds of training videos and stuff for them. And so, any direction you want to go, whatever you want your role to be, you can do it.
I love this last one. I kind of jumped ahead a little bit in the questions, and Felicia saying, "Well, this is my goal," so that's a good goal to be in. Adam, Alex is asking the question, can you give me an example of some marketing strategies you're using? So, which kind of leads in really, really nicely within where we are right now in the slide deck. So this is a good place you can kind of start talking about the examples of marketing strategies.
Yeah, are we getting into marketing methods on some of these slides? I can't remember.
Yeah, what we're going to get into is actually how to make money at each of these, but let's go ahead and talk those through, because what we want to do for everybody is because everybody's always asking, I know I can make money on medical billing, but can I make money on these other services? So we'll kind of do this as a combination of marketing strategies and what you can make on these.
Right. And Alex, just to let you know, we did a specific marketing methods webinar a couple of weeks back, which is on the blog of absystems.com. So get back to the person who sent you the invite to this webinar, your ABS rep, and they can send you a direct link to that marketing methods webinar, which goes into a lot more detail about those marketing methods. So it really all boils down to doctors are pretty unique individuals, as I'm sure most of you know, and they don't they're not going to do business with somebody that they don't know, like, and trust, and they're
Right.
not going to do business with somebody that walks into their office cold and hands them a brochure and says, hey, can I do your medical billing? If you
Right.
do that, your material is going to go directly into the trash when you walk out that door. So that's what everybody's doing. So that's why we don't teach that at all. We don't teach cold calling. So what we have done is we have put together a lot of different marketing materials like these flyers. We've got books that we have written that you can provide to doctors as a free educational gift. And that is what doctors love. Doctors love to be educated. So what we do is we show you how to highlight certain parts of this book that we have and educate them on how to improve their revenue cycle and how to improve their workflow and their processes. And you're just giving them this as a gift, and they can make changes that affect their bottom line without them even having to do business with you. So what does that do? That actually shows them that you care about them and you truly do want to be more of a consultant for them than just a salesperson trying to sell them medical billing. So one of
Right.
the things that we have is we have all of these ancillary services that you're looking at on this slide here that are there're just a lot of different things that are going on right now that doctors have a big issue with that they need help with. And so a lot of the times what our owners will do is they will sign up a doctor for some of this ancillary stuff first as a sign of goodwill to get their foot in the door and show them that, for example, the newest service that we have is telehealth in the bottom right corner right there. So what is telehealth? Well, that allows the doctors to do actual encounters with the patients over the internet, over a smartphone. Wherever they go with internet, they can do an office visit with the patient. The patient doesn't even have to leave their house. Well, we have a service where you can offer this to doctors and it's completely standalone. So
Right.
the doctors do not have to commit to a big billing contract with you. They don't have to commit to using any of our software, but you can get them up and running on a telehealth service right away, and you get to make money on it. And so what does that do? That builds credibility, and the doctor's like, wow, they got me going on that telehealth service, and I'm really enjoying it. And at some point, the thought is, well, they're going to realize that you do billing and revenue cycle management, and they're going to want to have other, use you for other services.
Exactly.
So that's one of the ways that we teach you how to get business is kind of, you start with one of these other services and hopefully it flips over to the billing service at some point.
You bet.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is, in addition to these services here that you can help with these doctors, so what we're going to do now is layer on the 3 doctors that let's say that you got, you're doing $117,000 with the business with these doctors already. And then since you're working with those doctors, as Adam says, there are these other services, these ancillary services, either A, that helped you get into the door, or while you're there, you're finding out that, gosh, there's some other things here that you could actually be helping that doctor with. One of them is called Quick Collect. Adam, this is where, again, where the doctors are needing to get their revenue cycle up, and it may be outside the scope of just the medical billing. It's the collections. Let's kind of talk about that, and then we'll talk about what kind of revenue can be made here.
Yeah, and I'm sure some people right now are going, I don't want to have to call people and call little old ladies and squeeze every penny out of them. No, it doesn't work that way. So this is one of those features of our software that I mentioned earlier that's built into the software, and it doesn't have to be used. But if a doctor does want to collect on past due, money that's owed from patients, we have this built right in. So you click a button, and then we have a partner that does all the collection work. So there is some letters, there is some phone calls, and they do some other collection type stuff. I don't know how it works exactly, but basically they do all the collection work and you do no work, and you get paid for that. You get paid for that service. And this is in addition to the money that you're making on the billing service. So here's an example right here. If you had 3 doctors, each with 24 accounts or patients that you're trying to collect on, you could potentially earn $7.50 per account per month. And if you had, 3 times 24, is that 72?
Yep, 72, yep.
Okay. Yeah, so 750 times 72, I failed math, equals $540 a month in residual income. That's $6,480. Is that annually? Yes,
That's
annually.
Yep, that's another annual cost.
Without you having to do any work. So you're going to see I'm losing my words here, but basically the model is the same for all these ancillary services that we have. You get to make money on them, but you don't have to do the work. We have ABS, or one of our partners is doing the work for you, and you get to make money on it. So the only service where you are doing work on your end typically is the billing service. So
absolutely. And the same thing with Audit Guard. He's already mentioned to you earlier about Audit Guard. We kind of jumped ahead a little bit about Audit Guard, and then this is where the doctors again are going to need to kind of have their charts reviewed to make sure that they are in right standings with Medicare and Medicaid, and not just them, with any of the health insurance companies. We've heard, Adam, from our licensees that any doctor could be under an audit by as much as 3 to 5 different payers, which that could be, again, be Medicare, Medicaid, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna. And so these doctors need to have their charts reviewed on an annual basis to make sure that if they missed a code, they could be, I know it might be sound a little technical here, they could be overcoding to where they're charging a higher code than what's really documented, or they're actually undercoding, which they're actually losing money. And so this service here can kind of help with that and keep the doctor on that. So again, typically, you know, that's done about 50 charts per doctor. At that, you're making $900 on that. Divide times that by 12 reviews a year, because again, you're going to do a few of those with each doctor at a time throughout the year. Adam, that could add up to another $10,800 a year just on Audit Guard alone. And then CodeWrite kind of comes right back behind that, again, to make sure that those services, it's the same service. One's for audits, the other one is more of a proactive look at it. And again, if a doctor may not be still using some EHRs, we know that's maybe a little crazy, but there are some doctors out there that are still coding without an electronic medical record platform. Again, there's another $7,200 right there that could be, added into there. Now, iDocs Now, I'm gonna let you kind of take this one, Adam, because obviously this could be used more than just for doctors. Obviously, we got it for doctors, but maybe you can kind of go a little bit further that this could be used for just about anybody, because actually we use it ourselves.
That's right. This is a document management system that is completely up in the cloud. You guys have heard about the cloud, right? It's been around for a while. Well, there's a lot of industries, a lot of doctors, a lot of people outside of healthcare that have tons of paper records still. And they want to make them more secure, but they don't know how to do it. And so doctors have these filing cabinets full of these old historical patient records that they have to keep for 7 years or whatever. And what we can do is we can take all those documents and we can show them how to scan those documents, get them archived and put up into the cloud securely, HIPAA compliant, and you get to make money on it. Again, it's one of those services that you make money on every little document that goes through there. So an example right here would be, if you had 3 doctors using the iDocs Now service, you earn about $100 per doctor per month. So you're looking at about $300 per month if you had 3 doctors. So you could potentially be looking at $3,600 a year just for this iDocs Now service. So this is another one that's been really, really handy for any company in any industry that's trying to go paperless. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
AutoCard is one of those services, again, we have here to help you with the doctor, and especially right now for doctors that they're trying to reach their patient, what you would think is their clientele. And so AutoCard is a way in which this could be used to remind patients of their annual wellness visits, their mammograms. It could be remembering on so many different things. It could just be a simple, hey, just letting you know that we're here. Let us know how we can help you. They're designed, templated, ready to go. And these are actual cards that get mailed out to the patient. These aren't e-cards where it shows up in their email box. These are actual cards. It can have the doctor's signature on there. And again, with this, the way that we are in this world, the doctors are trying to look for ways again to reach and touch their patients without maybe those patients coming in. Because again, when you got patients that are actually seeing the doctor via telehealth, remember there's not that interaction as much as it used to be. So this is another reach for the doctor, but it's another way in which you can make money on top of that. Again, 3 doctors sending out about 200 patient cards at a time. That's 600 times that 3. That's another $7,200 on top of everything. So again, taking all of that again, Adam, each of those, and really we haven't even utilized all the entire services, and even some of the newer services that we have. We just kind of try to pick out the top ones that we know that are being used quite often. And you could literally get to $152,000 a year. And you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those services that you're really not doing anything except signing the doctor up on those things. So, that's another, $42,000 or $40,000 right there in just an income stream that you're really not doing anything for.
Yeah, that's right. And you mentioned this is not everything that we've got. This is by a long shot. This is not everything that we've got that you can offer. I would recommend, if anyone on this webinar has not seen our research guide, get back to your ABS rep that emailed you this webinar invitation. We have a 50-page PDF document that actually goes into a lot more detail than we went into today on each service that you can offer, how the service works, how it's marketed, what kind of money you can make on each service. There's several more that we don't even have time to go into. We just partnered with a brand new partner called Doctable. If you guys want to look them up after this webinar, doctable.com, D-O-C-T-I-B-L-E, doctable.com. They offer a really, really cool patient messaging system. They can do automated reminders. They can help doctors build Google reviews. They can do all kinds of stuff. So that's another thing where it actually plugs into any system that a doctor has currently. So you don't have to sell them on anything else. You can show them, hey, can your system do this, and this? And most of the time they say, no, we don't have a way to do text reminders. We don't have a way to do, this, that, and the other. Go look it up. So as a licensee of ABS, you're able to offer that Doctable service now. So just,
that's it.
We're always talking with companies and trying to partner with companies that are going to give our owners an advantage over the competition. We're always thinking ahead on that.
You bet. Adam, before we leave this whole area, and we've been dealing with all these different services, here's a question that kind of can wrap into, are there extra charges for all these services? I know that you said the $27,990, the $28,000. Is there any more money that is required for me in this particular business?
And I think somebody asked that.
Yeah, Lori. I kind of asked it for Lori just in a little bit different way, but that's the question for sure.
Yeah, so Lori said, in addition to the 27 grand, how much more is required? Well, Lori, there are some basic business setup costs, but those vary depending on how you set up your business and depending on, if you need a new computer or, if you get that E&O insurance that I mentioned. That's actually covered in that research guide in detail, Lori. So there's a page that talks about, here are your potential costs that you could have depending on what direction you go and how you set up your business. So you'll definitely want to figure out how to download that research guide. And the model is the same. It's in the research guide. It also talks about how every single one of these ancillary services, what we have done is we have partnered with these companies who have agreed to reduce their retail pricing so that our owners can mark it up and make money on it. So every one of these services is different in how the pricing works, but you're always marking it up and making money on top of what you're charging for that service. So I think it'd probably be better. We don't have time to get too into detail on that, but that research guide should help answer each individual service and what kind of money can be made versus operational cost and all that good stuff. So.
Lori is asking about, does any of the franchises work with governmental or government entities? I guess that would be Medicare.
I mean, if she's referring to Medicare, Medicaid, the answer is yes. We have all public and private insurances built into the system right now. All the medical codes are built into the system and updated and maintained by us, and all that good stuff. So if that didn't answer that, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we only have about less than 15 minutes left. Let's kind of get back to some of these slides here, and I think this will be helpful as we kind of start to close out. But this is a great question. I know it comes up quite frequently in some of these. And what and why would a doctor even want to outsource to me in the first place, Adam?
That's a great question, and I get that all the time from people. Why would a doctor want to use me? Well, it's all in how you present yourself. There's
Right.
a lot of people out there that are offering medical billing services. If you Google medical billing services in your area, you're going to find a ton of results. But most of those people are doing it wrong. They
Yeah.
don't know how to market the business. They don't know how to build value by providing those educational materials and things that help doctors without having to do business with them and become a trusted advisor. That's what you're going to be doing. So we give you enough marketing materials, enough information in the training so that you can speak intelligently about some of the hot topics that are going on in the industry and become very quickly become seen as an advisor. And that's the key, because there are so many people out there that are just, they go through medical billing school, they pick out some software, and they come up with some flyers on their computer, and they mail them out to 100 offices, and they wonder why they don't get any calls back, because there was zero trust built, there was zero education given to the doctors. That's why they don't get any business. So we have a completely different approach, and that's why our doctors do trust our owners.
Exactly. And then this is another way for you to kind of start thinking about it, because obviously, Adam, everybody's going to ask, well, don't doctors already have their own billers and own billing, people in their office? And this kind of gives you folks a comparison. Now, remember, if you haven't done this already, we're getting close to wrapping up here. We've got about 10 more minutes. So take the time to go over to the handouts, download the PDF that we have for you, so you can have this as handy for you as you're kind of doing your own due diligence. But when doctors do their billing in-house, you're seeing that it's going to cost them, with all these costs that are equated into what it goes into to hire a biller in-house. That's going to cost that doctor anywhere from $65,000 up. This is just the bottom, as you can think about it. If you're doing the billing, and remember, we're using that $100 there, 100 claims per week, basically at $100 times 6%. The total outgo for that doctor, for the outsourced medical billing, is $31,200. So that's almost half, or just it is half of what it's going to cost if they've got their own biller. So it's actually a money saving for the doctor. I mean, think about just automatically generating another $30,000 a year into the doctor's practice simply by getting that doctor to outsource their billing.
That's right. And this goes back to the whole education thing that I was talking about earlier. How our owners are able to put these numbers in a nice looking spreadsheet like this is because we actually teach you how to do a full practice analysis of the practice. So that's the very first step in the whole marketing process that we take doctors through. So it's very easy. We give you a list of questions to ask the doctor, and you just read off the questions and you write down the answers that you get to those questions. So it's not that hard. But that's where we are able to come up with those numbers that you saw on that previous slide. And so what you can do is, in this practice analysis, there's all kinds of different questions, as you can see here. But it gets to the bottom of, what their real costs are in doing business the way that they're currently doing it. And the key thing here is, a lot of doctors have no clue what their real costs are.
Right.
They're typically not great business people. They go to school for medicine, and they're, a very small part of school is on the business side of things. They don't even think of their practice as a business. They don't even call it that. So if you can gather this information and put it in writing and show them in black and white, look, here's the information that I got from you. And, according to my report here, we actually help you put together this practice revenue report, so you can take it back to them on the second visit and say, I've identified some areas where, we can absolutely see improvements by using some of our systems and some of our services. And it's based on the information that you provided to me. So, here are my solutions to the problems that you said that you were having here that I found. Do you want them or not? Take it or leave it. It's not an aggressive sales approach. It's like, look, I've uncovered this stuff here based on what you told me, and I've got some ways that I can definitely improve on that for you. So
yeah, you bet. I mean, and folks, once you get to if because again, you're not selling anything to that doctor except for their money, their lost revenue. That's what if you can kind of start thinking in those terms, that's the only thing that you're selling the doctor. And if you can begin to start thinking in terms that, gosh, all I'm really doing is selling the doctor their lost revenue, now it helps change you, and it's going to change how you approach a doctor and how you start to have your discussions with doctors. So just getting that, as a little tidbit there will go a long way. Adam, before we get into this, and I know that we've got about 6 minutes left, I was going to see there's a question here from Keisha. Do you offer certified billers and coders or anybody else any discounts?
I mean, is she asking about a discount on the license fee?
That's what I think. That's what at least I got out of it.
Yeah, I mean, Keisha, we've done all that we can to keep our costs down and keep our investment as low as we possibly can. Our founder wants to go up to 30 grand. He's been wanting to go up to 30 grand for a long, long time, and we've been able to hold him back. So, unfortunately, our 27,990, that's it. The price is what it is. So,
yeah,
sorry about that.
And then Met says, I guess when we were talking about all the different services, all these services sound great. Which of the services is the best one to start with?
Well, that's a great question. And there's no way to really answer that until you have a great picture as to what the doctor's needs really are. And that's exactly why we teach our owners not to start talking about any particular service or any particular fees. I can do it for this, or I can do it for that, or whatever. You don't want to talk about any of those things until you have an accurate picture by doing that practice analysis that we just talked about, because every doctor's needs are going to be different. Every doctor has a different button that you're going to need to find and push, that's going to get their attention. So, I can tell you that our biggest money-making service is absolutely the medical billing service. That's going to be your bread and butter service by far. And that's going to be the one that you're going to want to try to push doctors to, in the beginning, or maybe somewhere down the road if they choose one of the other ancillary services. So, yeah. Sorry, I can't answer that more succinctly, but that's how it goes.
Adam, I'm going to jump up a little bit in our slide deck here, just simply because I know that there are going to be some people that are going to need to leave here at the top of the hour. But let's talk about one of the other benefits about even trying to get started in medical billing with American Business Systems. You mentioned earlier that ABS is listed on a lot of franchise sites, and in there there are business opportunities. And we all know, you and I know, we've known this for years, that business opportunities and franchises typically don't have any type of money back guarantee. So let's talk about that, and then we can maybe wrap up with a couple of things that people might need to do. And if we got time, we'll take some more of these questions.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know any other opportunity out there that's offering something like this, because it takes a lot of effort on our part to train someone. We've got a lot of time and effort and cost tied up in the training materials and the trainer and all that. So, there's nobody out there that I can think of that's offering anything like this. So it's pretty simple. We know that this opportunity is legitimate. We've been doing this for 26 years. We know that these services are very much needed in the market. We know that our owners are making really good money. It's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. It's not a get rich overnight situation. It takes a lot of hard work to get where you want to get to. I mean, I'm not going to lie. So that's why we give you this money back guarantee. We let you go through our entire training, all 8 modules that we do, and at the end of the training, you can figure out, you're going to know at that point, okay, this business is legitimate. I'm going to be able to make this work. Or you're going to say, you know what, this isn't what I thought it was. It's not for me. So we give you 30 days to figure out if it's for you or not. It's not a guarantee that you'll get a client in 30 days or any amount of time. But it is a guarantee that you will feel confident in that you're going to be able to do the business or not. So if you
Right.
feel it's not for you, you can just let us know and we'll send you your money back 100%. That's in our agreement in writing.